environmental district he is
And
in.
by the way, you notice you fly over in the helicopter, those places with roofs, they didn't do it.
It's the right material.
Yeah. So we gotta change that. Anyway,
We're gonna put some trees. Moving people up and down.
they didn't do it.
Hello, and welcome to Rocks 95 in the FAHQ studios. Tonight we are returning to a topic from last year. One sheriff boy told us not to talk about. First off, freedom of speech, so your thunder ass. The truth about lasers and wildfires too, electric boogaloo. My name is Shelly Snob, and before we get into tonight's topic, our hearts go out to those in California. We want to wish those who are in California to be safe and keep others safe around you. Make sure to remain calm, also please be vigilant and alert. If you see something, say something. This will be discussed further in the video. In regards to Cole Vin, he has vanished, the investigation is still underway, and we will keep you updated. And Cole Vin, if you are watching, you little So, just for you Sheriff, once more with feeling. Let's rewind the clocks 1 year to 2024 around this time to show you a video. This is a clip from what we said.
Enter Lockheed Martin. They released this video in 2021.
Aircraft equipped with a laser system with the capability to be able to neutralize a threat at the speed of a lightning strike, the precision of a surgical scalpel, with the magazine to deal with a swarm.
The street. What the is that, dude?
Since we first aired this broadcast, we have gathered more and more evidence. You gave us a year and we spoke about many topics, but this one is close to our hearts. Many of us here at Voids Light News have family and dear friends who live in the LA area. We now have evidence of outright arson. As of now, the fires have resulted in at least 27 tragic deaths and destroyed over 2,300 structures. While the causes of the major fires remain under investigation, authorities have already apprehended several individuals attempting to ignite new fires during this critical period. One individual, Jose Gerardo Escobar, has been arrested for setting 3 separate fires. If convicted, he could face up to 9 years in prison. In North Hollywood, a suspect was caught using a barbecue lighter to start fires, thanks to vigilant community members who reported the activity.
Thank you, Snob. Now let's shift gears and ask several questions. Why was $17 million cut from LA fire departments? The answer: inclusivity and diversity. Hello, I am Gavin Stanford. Though we have no concrete evidence, we have several context clues that may suggest several things. We know wildfires can be caused by using a high enough grade laser. Let's rewind again, but to the beginning of this video.
You notice you fly over in the helicopter, those places with roofs, they didn't do it.
It's the right material.
Yeah. So we gotta change that. Anyway, those roofs, they didn't do it.
It's the right material.
Yeah. So we gotta change that. Anyway.
In the previous video, we discussed an aircraft, the Boeing YAL-1. A high-altitude plane with a defensive laser, mounted to the front. This, I don't think is the case. This journalist does have an odd theory. Let's look at what Gavin Newsom said.
Tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom talking about his plans to resist the Trump administration.
This is the first time he's spoken on camera since Donald Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris. ABC 10's Garjpal Sangha is live in the studio with what he had to say.
Yeah, Chris and Laura, he spoke for roughly 30 minutes and took questions from the moderator. Now, Newsom said tens of thousands of people were on that call, and he told them it was time to assert themselves. One political analyst says this was another chance for the governor to raise his national profile.
We're not going to shrink, and we're not going to shy or fall prey.
Governor Gavin Newsom pushing back on a virtual call Friday, talking to voters, some outside of California, about the state's effort to prepare for the Donald Trump administration.
We're going to have their back. We're going to have your back. Even if you don't live in the state of California, we're going to have your back.
Through the political action committee he launched last year, Campaign for Democracy, Newsom believes the upcoming Trump term will be more aggressive.
I expect him to be a little sharper on the follow through, not just the rhetoric. Trump 2.0, I think, is going to be, from his perspective, aiming to be more effective.
Newsom said Trump will implement the ideologies of Project 2025, even as Trump has said otherwise.
We need to be doing something.
During the first Trump term, California led the resistance, suing the administration 120 times. On Thursday, Newsom reacted by calling for an emergency special session to safeguard the state's progressive policies and to give the Attorney General's office more funding to fight federal challenges.
I want our president to succeed. We know their playbook. We know what they're going to do.
No secret that the governor has been trying to increase his profile outside the state of California for several months now.
Political analyst Steve Swat says this event highlights Newsom wants to be the face of resistance against the Trump administration.
Can't help but think that he is looking ahead to 2028.
Swat says aside from presidential aspirations, Newsom looks to protect state policies like abortion, undocumented immigrants, and the environment.
California has been able to regulate tailpipe emissions and other environmental policies that go further than the federal government does. The first go around after the 2016 election, President Trump tried to stop California from doing that. California fought back and we won that battle.
Newsom says the state will stand firm.
This is a moment where you've got to focus on what you can control. And what we can control is our response.
Voters not to fear the future and not to regret the past. Chris.
Well, is this your stand against Trump? Let's ask the mayor fresh from Ghana.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home? Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
No. They're gonna come. Ma'am, hold on 1 second.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
Finally, let's ask about the water. The water that ran out while firefighters were fighting the blaze. Refusing to refill the reservoirs? Gavin, what do you have to say about that?
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter on this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local authorities.
Now, I can't stress this enough. This is simply our speculation on the matter, but doesn't he seem more apathetic as opposed to empathetic?
An illegal Chinese-run biolab was discovered in California back in March. Now, photos from the lab are coming out, painting a horrific scene. Local and federal officials raided the lab, which was genetically engineering mice and experimenting with COVID-19, HIV, herpes, and malaria. Fresno County authorities said the mice were being engineered to catch and carry COVID-19. Photos from the lab show thousands of dead mice stuffed in storage bins and freezers filled to the brim with bottles of blood and plasma. They also show stacks of boxes containing dangerous pathogens, including one labeled malaria.
I allege that the governor, Gavin Newsom, was sending an activation code to sleeper cells, embedded in that stand against Trump.
It's critical to understand how systems work and sometimes how those systems can be manipulated. You see, when individuals are pushed to the margins, to a place of desperation, they become vulnerable to influence, especially when promises of power, wealth, or a way out of their circumstances are offered. What did Gavin mean by a final stand against Trump? A Chinese biolab was found in 2024, and you have been very openly vocal about keeping the borders open. Not to mention when you had the entirety of California cleaned up. For the people? Nope. No, you didn't. In fact, you cleaned the shit off the streets for none other than the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping. He's a piece of shit to himself in my fucking opinion. You don't believe me? Remember this shit?
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true.
What the did this little just say? How the does this treasonous scumbag have a job? And how far off is it to say Gavin probably had the fires started? As a last act of defiance?
That's true, because it's true.
Remember, this is all speculation. I'm the out. Be kind, and rewind.